honestly, it might be better that way because I just hit the live button. But yeah, it might just be better that way because if I'm it would be pointless for me to record them then to my hard drive if you're going to be able to edit and upload, you know, because then you can just download the file from YouTube, convert it.
I will not be able to do editing when I'm on a show call, but I will absolutely be able to do the streaming end.
Well, anyway, we're fucking here finally. For
Yay!
Who may or may not
What's that?
be here.
Sorry, we have consistent technical issues. They will be started soon. That is a cool promise. That's something working on. We have a 5-step recovery program.
I hate having technical issues because it throws me off of everything that I wanted to talk about on the podcast. Like, I can't. Now I'm just like, I'm so irritated. Everything sucks, and I don't even want to be here right now. Like, I just, like, so irritated.
We can't let that happen.
Take a deep breath and fight the overstimulation. No, JK.
Kill everyone.
Exactly.
Life is hard, but we're here. I think that's just kind of been the theme for me lately, is at least I'm still showing the fuck up. Thank you.
Which is all you really need to
Y'all can see my eye twitch on camera.
What'd you say, Scott?
I said that's all you, and you know, that's a good thing, as long as you're showing up.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, that's like that, you know? That's okay.
Mm-hmm. There's like a lot of people that don't show up, like, for whatever it... I'm talking like the world at large, you know?
Right, yeah. I
did just learn something, mentally.
Yeah.
I did just learn something about your tradition, Jay. Apparently, groundhogs represent the underworld messengers in your tradition.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
I just learned that from
what is your tradition specifically, Jay?
So yeah, I've talked about it a little bit on here because I've kind of been in the searching for my religion versus how my magic works kind of thing. But
this is a good launching point because we had a very heathen day yesterday.
Yeah, this is actually a really good launching point. Camera would focus, but whatever. Yeah, so the tradition I follow, I consider myself pagan overall as just like a very general thing, but more specifically, I am following a heathen tradition. The specific name of that tradition is Orglava, which translates to original faith. In Pennsylvania Deutsch, or Pennsylvania German, some people call it. So
yeah.
What it is essentially it's a modern heathen tradition. It's a very inclusive heathen tradition as well. Very modern heathen tradition, so it draws inspiration from that ancient Germanic folklore, and also sort of blends the culture of the Pennsylvania Dutch people that immigrated over here to. So it's a very interesting blend of like New World, Old World kind of heathenry, which I really like because I think sometimes some flavors of different pagan traditions tend to be really stuck in the old ways, and it's like, yeah, they did it that way. It was cool. It worked for them, but what works for us now? So, yep, that is the tradition I follow, or Glava. I am the niche of the niche of the niche. It is hardly ever known or talked about, and also like I also know many other heathen groups are like, ew, they're Glovers, they're weird. So it's fine. I'm used to it. But yeah, that is the tradition I follow.
Yep.
Alright, did you lose sound again, Sophia? But yeah, Brew, I don't know if you want to talk about our day yesterday. It was a very heathen day. Very heathen day.
Yeah, sure. So yesterday I double booked us. I almost never double book us, but I did, and
weird.
that was That was all on me. 3 hours of driving, but no, it was a good day. Long day. We got to attend the ordination of Kyle Reese and Ben. Can't remember his last
Can't
name. Ben
remember
and
Ben's
Kyle.
last name.
Yeah, Ben and Kyle. Their ordination into the Troth, which is a more well-known heathen organization, in our area. And our Rob, who is our basically the founder of our kindred, was sponsoring him for his ordination. We were the first ones there, though. Rob was 40 minutes late. He walked in halfway through the frickin' ritual. But that
Traffic.
was
Traffic is a bitch
trap.
around here.
It was in Wilmington, Delaware,
Yeah.
which obviously I'm no stranger to that commute, but I was honestly surprised that Mike and Stacy were there and Mish and Garrett came down, which was super nice. And they had chickens, which was just wonderful. We love chickens, like live chickens, not like dead chickens.
They were pretty
The
beautiful live
like
chickens.
beautiful chickens. And yeah, that was just nice. It was just though who was hosting? She was what was her name? Oh my gosh, can't remember.
My God, there were so many
Amara.
names yesterday.
There were
So many
so many
names
new
yesterday.
people. So many
We met
new
a lot
people that
of
we got to.
we met a
It,
lot of
it
new
was it
people.
was it was a lot of it was nice networking, connecting with other heathens. And we had a after the ordination, we had a our ritual. It was for the desecration of the shrines. And that was very, very nice. I kind of found out in the middle, like Rob always does. So Rob always does a rune reading after we do our first round of blessings, hails as we say. And I got it was funny. I had hailed Gunnar, otherwise known as Thor, and basically Rob confirmed, like, yeah, no, he is definitely like somewhere hanging around, like, what's up, like, you should pay attention to that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I just been noticing, like, just like these crazy strange storms that I've just been like narrowly avoiding, and just other weird, the weird signs and symbols that you just see when certain spirits are reaching out to you.
It's just the
Um,
weirdest thing to me is like Donar is not an entity that you would go to. You normally go toward the goddesses.
Never,
Yeah, you lean toward the
obviously.
goddesses. Yeah, like you lean toward Hala,
Yep,
Berkta, like
yep.
that's where you go. And yet it's so funny, like we'll just be driving, joking around, you see those storm clouds rolling in, and Rue was literally like, we're going to pick up pizza or something. Yeah. And you're like, this pizza is Dunner approved, and there was a streak of lightning across the sky. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's God shit right there. So yeah, it's been
Absolutely
it's
crazy.
been like proving to me that we're in the correct current for where we need to be. Because like it just like I said, it's just you're not gonna reach out to like it just wouldn't be and so the fact that
I
he is the
would
one
be the
reaching out to
last.
you, yeah,
Yes,
it's just
exactly.
so like it's very like yes, this is it, this is real, divine message, communication, whatever, and you belong here, and it's like a good feeling. But it was really cool
Exactly.
to be around other heathens because the only really heathen rituals that I've been a part of have just been Urglava specific, and Urglava, like I said, is also very niche and very new, and we do things differently than other traditions do, and some people love it and some people hate it. So it was nice to be a part of a more, I guess, Norse flavored heathen ritual. Um and it was really nice to be around a bunch of inclusive heathens specifically. And that's the thing that I really want to draw home here is that I've been specifically finding inclusive heathen groups. And it's so important that if you are looking into heathenry, you really have to look for groups that use that word inclusive, because or else you're gonna find, not saying you're going to, but there is a chance that you could find the not so nice heathens, you know, the ones that use all the white supremacy fucking nonsense and bullshittery. So, and that's kind of what kept me dodging away from heathenry for a long time, is I didn't want to, you know, look for my kindred and, you know, they're welcoming me in, hey, 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 and then I find out, hey, we're a bunch of racists, and I'm gonna go, fuck, you know, like, now I gotta leave and find a whole other thing. So, that's what kept me away from it for a long time. But I kept my eye on Urglava and everything that Rob was doing with his kindred Distelfink, and I've just kept my eye on it for all these years that I've been friends with Rob, and I finally just, there was a natural, you know, just way for me to step into it, and I was like, you know, I feel called and I just want to step into this current. And yeah, I think it was also the fact that we got married on, you know, the land underneath the oak tree. Um, you know, I think that might have something to do with it too. Like that might have been like honestly our first step into really that current kind of thing.
Yeah, which is funny. It leads. So that was what we double. So we went. We had this wonderful time with all these heathens, and then we all drove back up into Central Jersey and went to the first pagan night. Well, I won't want to say the first. It's the first of the reinvention of the rebuilding of the recome. I don't know. Of
Pagan night out.
pagan night. Thank you. Pagan night out, hosted by our lovely Michelle over at Oak Haven Farm, and it was super fun. It was literally just like
It was Urgalava
6 of
people,
us.
honestly. It really wasn't. There wasn't anyone else.
It was Mike and Stacy, me and Jay, and Andrea and Michelle.
Yeah. We would have grabbed you and Scott and Darian, like we would have grabbed you guys, but we were already at the other thing in Delaware, and so I was like, I don't think the space-time continuum would allow us to like Delaware, South Philly to Jersey. But definitely for the next one, but definitely for the next pagan night out, like we're gonna try and, because I know you love being on her property.
Yeah, no, you've never, like, I mean, you've been to liminal spaces, but to be in such a place, you know, it's very the spirits there. The one thing I love about the spirits there, they're very not, like, for me, they're very non-tradition specific, because I can work with them as a trad witch and just be like, they're like, hey, I know what you're talking about, land devils, let's go. You know, like, we got this. You know, like I can identify with that. So it's like cool, you know, like it's just, that place is just the fair folk and the tutelaries and the tree. It, especially like the tree tutelary, the oak tutelary, it was just a beautiful place that I wish that we could get Sophia to, because I know that she would love that there.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful spot. And just like I want to organize a trip up your way, Sophia, and I would love to get a tour. Like maybe one, I want to see Toronto because, like, you know, it'd be really nice to see like a city, you know, out there and all. But like, I would really love to see your hometown and like some of the places, you know. Like I think that would be pretty cool if we could make that happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be a great time. I would love to have y'all out here.
Yes.
Don't mind me. I'm just looking up getting a microphone because I'm very annoyed at the fact that my
I like the not sponsored. We use the Razer Siren X, I think it is. We both use that same mic. It's usually anywhere between $50 and $100, depending what deal, like brand new. So that's, you know, if you're buying it brand new, but if you're looking on buy sell, I wouldn't pay any more than $5. That's American prices.
$75 American is a lot Canadian, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I was just gonna say that's going. American. I was like, her on her end, and they'd be between 100 and 200, and yeah, I wouldn't.
Kind of cut.
You cut out there.
Cutting out. Don't you love technical? My favorite ever. Said no one ever.
So we're just going to use the bone induction headphones, even though they have less audio quality, simply because they don't fucking disconnect every goddamn 5 seconds like the audio technicals.
Yeah, that's okay.
Give me
I'd
2
rather.
seconds to go back to there. My threshold's low, so my audio should be more clear, and I should be clipping out as much.
Yeah, it sounds okay. Good enough. Sounds like you're
That's
calling
fine.
into a radio station.
Lol.
Yeah, which is vibes. I like that vibe.
Yeah, I like it.
But
It's a
I
vibe.
love that. I love that you guys were doing witchy stuff while I was being very queer.
Yes. You went to
Yeah.
another Pride event?
I went to World Pride, which travels around the world every year. I went to Washington D.C. for the first time, which was really weird.
That was
And
wait, you went down to DC?
yeah,
Who'd
I
you
was
go
in
with?
Washington D.C.
Stop.
Darian and my friend Chris.
Oh, okay. Did you guys drive down? Did you take the train?
Yeah, we drove down.
Okay.
It was nice. It was a nice drive. It was
What's
weird.
the vibe down there? Like,
So it's really different. So like
yeah.
on a witchy level, which is funny because I was talking to Chris and Darian about this, and Darian agreed with me. The tutelary of DC is very different from which I would expect is very different from the tutelary that I think a lot of people that grew up in and around Philly know.
Yeah.
Sophia, for context, like you can feel the Philly tutelary pretty distinctly in Center City Hall, which is the new City Hall. The old City Hall is in Old City, Philadelphia, more than a few blocks away. But the place where it is pretty much built by the Masons, and the City Hall, the City Hall, the second one that's in the center of the Center City, is the geographical center of our landmass of Philadelphia. And they did that on purpose. And you could feel the spirit of Philadelphia there, like the actual tutelary. But it's a very different presence, and on like a spiritual vibe, like one, it's and I don't think that, like, I'm not trying to say that the spirit was malignant in any way, but it was very like when I got there, I said hello. I was like, I reached out, with will and psychic force, and was like, hello. I said, my name is Scott. This is Chris. This is Darian. We're here for a Pride festival. I did explain. I explained to the spirit what a Pride festival was. And I said we're not here to cause any harm or do any trouble, but it was interesting because it surveils. Because I asked, like, what is your? I kind of asked, like, what is your thing? Like, what are you
What do you
about? And
oversee? Yeah. What's your function, kind of?
right, and it was like information, which I thought was really interesting.
Huh.
And it was funny because this particular spirit,
As
this
you look
particular
into the corner, random.
that was Darian. I'm sorry, he came in. And I was like,
It was just
and he like looked
so.
at me.
It was so well timed. You're like, the spirit, huh?
I swear to God, I thought you were looking at something else.
Not right now. But what should I call it? No, it has this like it said information, which was really interesting. That was the word that came to me, out of nowhere, and I was like, whoa, okay. And information. And then it was funny because I kept trying to understand the nature of the spirit, but it was a I said it kind of was like a chameleon, and it seemed to sort of have it seemed to be painted by, and I this is just an assumption, but I wonder if this spirit, this tutelary, changes based upon who sits in the presidency. I wonder if it cares that much. It seems a little silly, but there was this thing about sort of changing it, but not chameleon as if to trick. It's not, again, not malicious. It's just sort of painted by something. There's this sort of transient likeness to the tutelary there, and I didn't have enough time. Obviously I'm partying with a bunch of queer people from all over the world. I heard people, there were people from and it was really cool because they had like different like the fans with the wooden like the wooden suppressor stick and whatever. Like they had different pride flags with their flag on it.
Oh,
And
that's
you could
cool.
get which your flag was. There were a lot of Canadians. There were a lot of Nordic people, like a lot of people from like Norway and Sweden and all
That's
up over
cool.
there. Some people from France and Spain. It was really cool. It was like a lot of fun. Being around all just
That's
different queer people. There was this sense though, like I mean, on a human level, obviously we're in Washington D.C., which is currently taken over by a fascist piece of shit, and it is scary, because like sorry everybody.
It's so
It
funny.
is scary because I come home to find out that we're the whole thing that's happening in LA, and I don't know if you guys know about they're I don't know if it's happened yet, but they're saying they're going to release our military onto the LA population.
Yes,
I don't believe
Yes.
they'll actually do that. That sounds like a lot of bluster because of the consequences of it. But like, it could
You're not the
potentially
only
happen
person to say
because
that.
they're.
yeah.
Pardon?
You're not the only person to say that. Other people have agreed with
Like,
that as well. I don't know where
I
I stand.
I know a lot of military people, and I've watched a lot of channels about this, and all of them say the exact same thing. The chances of the reserves or anything like that being deployed on the population is extremely low.
Yeah.
And if they did, they'd be non-compliant.
And I think
I've heard that
National
too.
Guard, I believe they can mobilize if they haven't.
Yes, because
But
there's a caveat for disasters, but if you can't mobilize them against the populace, it's still considered a standing army.
right, yeah. And there's also like in some state constitutions, like certain governors can also mobilize the National Guard. So it's also a matter of who mobilized them first, right? So it's like if the governor mobilizes the National Guard to protect the people from a threat and then the president says, "Hey, National Guard, kill the people." Like it's
So before my microphone cuts out again, because this headset's doing it too, I'll
Mm.
say really quickly that like something's gonna happen sooner or later. This
Yes.
presidency will not be 4 years. There'll either be an impeachment or some type of legal recourse, which is far less likely than the second possibility, which is more violence and conflict. And I say more violence and conflict because, like, have y'all seen these videos of the people absolutely mobbing those ICE raids? Like, I saw one where, like, these cars are trying to drive by and people are, like, bricking their fucking windshields and stuff. Like, y'all, it's popping the fuck off.
But you know what? I
I knew it
wouldn't
would.
even
I knew it
call
would.
that violence. I wouldn't even call throwing a brick at an ICE vehicle violence. I would just call
Okay,
it
so you would, yes,
deterrent.
but it's still violence. The state defines it, right? Therefore, they are going to use violence in recourse.
Right, because remember what he's doing right now, and like what this is all about, is
Baiting
because
us.
he's trying. Right, he's trying to bait us. If we, because he knows that we're going to fight.
Mhm.
Like they're threatening Philadelphia, and he knows that Philly isn't going to put up. When we were driving back into Philly last night, there was a anti-Trump ad flashing across a big billboard as you're coming into Philly, and it's like Trump chickens out every time,
I don't
and it
know
has
if
like the
you saw
Trump always chickens
anything,
out.
Taco.
but be careful in your neighborhood today specifically. I have heard I can send you like the intersections of where they're gonna be, but
I've heard it. I like a part of me is like, like I should be out there like fighting them,
it's more
honestly,
of
but I don't
those
want to
things
go
like if you
alone.
see it's more of like if you see them mobilize. I think it's one of those kind of situations.
Also,
I'm
if
not
you
gonna let them get to
can,
my neighbors. I already said that. I don't know. I don't know my neighbors well, and we're not that close. And I know that I think they were working on me, but like, if they come to my neighbors, I'm not letting them take them. Like that. I
Right.
already told my mother. I was like, they can fucking piss the fuck off. Like, get the fuck out of my neighborhood, you fucking gavones. Like, no, get the fuck
Mhm.
out.
we
Yeah.
don't deal with the Gestapo here. You can fucking go.
Or literally,
Real-
get the fuck out of South Philly. I don't know why
seriously.
you think you're here.
I was just thinking the same thing, and I was like, so are we going to these intersections that were listed after we're done podcasting and beating some ice ass? Because that sounds great. Speaking of violence,
that's if they're gonna be there. You know, like maybe now that everyone knows, maybe now they
no,
won't.
they're not exactly.
Yeah. So, but I guess that's the point, right? Is to spread the word and stop them before they even try.
Well,
They were
yeah.
up in our neighborhood yesterday. Mish was sharing some posts that they had in their networks.
Like, and what I was getting at though was that what I know what Trump is looking to do is to aggravate the liberal cities, the sanctuary cities,
yes,
so that way we fight back, because they know it's not just him. They know that we're going to fight, and
he wants to crush
they
us
know that
first.
the
If
time
he
is right.
crushes, yeah, if he crushes the
Because then he'll
liberal
call what you call it. Then we'll lose all our rights. State of what is that?
martial law.
Martial law. If he calls martial law, our rights change. We lose
Everything.
yeah, they change. We don't have what we have, and we don't have the same autonomy anymore. There are a little bit that we could do, like our lawyers can do stuff, but who has money for a lawyer? But yeah,
martial
he already
law.
That's why I'm
Just,
paying for my legal fund through work.
yeah, martial law to me, especially in this particular instance, like we have a fascist as a president. There's no lie about that. It's a cold hard fucking fact. Now, if
Yeah.
martial law is invoked, that just means you have declared war against the people, and the people are now at war with you. Like that's what that means to me in this instance. If martial law is declared,
The thing
Yeah.
about martial law is, again, it's one of those things that's really hard to act declare. Like, you can't. There's not a lot of precedent for it, and there's a lot of kickback, and there's a lot of states' rights and bullshit. And I've
yes,
watched a lot of stuff. And again, the claim of putting martial law out there is very similar to the claim of mobilizing the military. I'll believe it when I fucking see it.
Yeah.
I'll be real with y'all. 90% of this administration's power is in its ability to claim that they're just going to do the evil thing, and everybody's willingness to just wail and despair and let them do the fucking evil thing. They're a paper tiger, and they always have been, right? That's why people are saying they always choke, because they don't actually have any backing. They know that they're just using huge fucking lever, and they know if they push that lever too hard, it snaps and it will not go back to the state it's in. So they're being very careful not to break that lever, because they already fucking bent the shit out of it, okay? And it's a breaking point coming up soon, and they're gonna keep trying to apply leverage, and that lever is gonna break, and they're going to lose every bit of control that they have on people, because it's all in here. They don't actually have any power on the books. If people stop going along with this and stop being afraid and stop fucking throwing themselves from bridges in despair, no shade at anybody who's done that, but like, seriously, we as a society, we let all of our fears control us all the fucking time, and we respond to that more than the actual lived reality than we ever do. There's a thing I've been talking about, and I swear to God, like, so many people have it permanently, or not permanently, critically online bipolar disorder, like a type of temporary bipolar disorder that happens from spending just much fucking time online, right? And that's exactly it. This splitting over every little thing and polarizing it and catastrophizing and just wanting to throw your fucking hands up. That's it. COBPD. I talked to a medical professional actually when I said it to him. He was like, fuck, you're right. And he like just gave me a 1,000-yard stare, and he's like, I gotta say, talk to people about this. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking will, bud. So
What I
new mental
have
health condition coming at you 2026. Pew pew.
what I have liked about a lot of the anti-ice movements that I've seen is it is neighborhoods of people. They see them roll in, and everyone comes out of their houses and is like, "No, dude, that it ain't happening."
You
Everyone's
fucking touch
filming,
our people, we will break you.
you know, and that's what we have to, you know, that's the way to stop them. And also, it's like this too is Ethor and Coil kind of really hit on this, and it's something that I want to explore in Magick is make them feel the empathy. I want you to feel. I want you to feel everything that you're doing, like especially these ICE agents. You know what I mean? The people that are enacting this violence. Like I don't want to hear, well, you know, it's my paycheck. No, mm-mm. You're getting off on this, my dude. You absolutely are. I can see
I'm
your
just doing
fucking
my
heart
job.
on a mile away, okay? As you're taking this lady out of her house and beating the shit out of her, okay? You motherfucker piece of shit. Alright? So, like, but, like, responding in anger to something like that doesn't help, but it's just like, I want them... Look in the mirror. I want them to see everything that they're doing, Like, I blow it wide open for them, kind of thing.
That was a really cool curse. I know the curse you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, that was a really cool curse. I like that curse a lot. I'll have to reshare that. But there are other spells that I'm going to share from M. Ballinger, Dr. M. Ballinger. They have an amazing book out that I have that I think would be cool to work some of the spells from it as well for people. They have stuff to sort of um, subvert and attack back at, like, police overreach and crooked cops, and um yeah, they have like a lot of really useful stuff like that. I actually wanted to make I had a spell that I wanted to do. I'll try to do it after D&D tonight. I wanted to combine one of spell from that with uh oh dear, sigil witchery. Laura Tempest Zakroff, she has a really beautiful sigil for protecting protesters from
Yeah, I have it on
violence,
the
and I
back
kind
of
of wanted
my
to.
protest sign.
Yeah, yes, you
You know
do.
what's funny? I'll say this. My protest sign, the first one I ever made, it just says "Deport Musk." That's all it says. That's it. And I did it in like red, white, and blue. Right? So deport Musk, red, white, and blue. And Musk and 47 are no longer friends. That makes me really happy.
Yeah. And also, I need all you people saying that it's like a show or something. I need you to stop saying that.
Oh, what? That they're
Number
just
one,
putting on a show?
yeah, which I think
No,
that's a crime.
it ain't.
It isn't a show. It's not.
No.
This is real. This
Musk
is,
is like, I
this
lost
is
money, dude. Like, I bought you the presidency, and now my company's tanking. What the fuck, bro? Like, that's literally what this is.
the thing that's kind of like the only thing that's irking me is like all these people who are like hearing like Trump is in the Epstein files. Like, you have people who are like, it's I'm so surprised that he's named in the, and we're like, what?
So's
And then
Oprah
you
and
have like other
Ellen.
people who are like, it's a lie. It's a lie. He's not really named in the Epstein files. I was like, what? And then you have like the other people about the whole like him buying the win for the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And him, like, number one, I was like, no one would be that specific. I was like, he started talking about seats on the Senate floor. I was like, he like literally said, oh well, the left would have a seat, like seat number to seat number, and I was like, how would he know that? How did he do it? Like,
How would you know that?
he had that like that.
Yeah, because
That was very specific, motherfucker.
Yeah, there are certain, like, if you look at these different Senate elections and these other elections that were happening around the same time, people that never really should have won their seats. So yeah, he bought a lot of positions for people, and has said it. And I also heard some rumors that the administration is looking into how to deport Musk potentially, which I think would be fucking up. So then if they deport Musk and then he goes back to South Africa, right? So then can he then apply for refugee status? Is that what he's going to try and do because of that bullshit that Trump was doing with the fucking white people from South Africa? Like they were coming here as refugees or some shit.
Trump also just recently, I was listening to, I think, Midas Touch. Trump told him that if in the next election he tries to give money to the Democratic Party, that he's going to face big consequences. Which I'm like, okay, I don't want to Nazi money anywhere anyway, but like,
it would be hilarious. Like Musk funding AOC for president.
Yeah, like that part of it's funny, but
hilarious.
At the same time, he wants Nazi money.
No, but you know what? Money of that level is all blood money. At that caliber, it's all blood money. So it's like,
no matter who it's coming from, I get what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Actually, joining the fucking conversation. I've switched to my phone because I'm so over trying
Kicking
to
it
sort
old
this
school.
fucking out every 5 fucking seconds.
I
I
hear
will
ya.
just have a microphone by next week. I would have bought one yesterday if the fucking seller didn't bitch out on me. So
All good.
next Sunday, y'all will have me with a high quality fucking recording camera and a microphone and a set with like little fucking goodies in the background and shit. So happy Pride, bitches.
Happy Pride. Damn.
Oh,
Speaking of Pride, Brew did this amazing fucking face yesterday. There is no photo evidence of it that exists. Maybe not close up anyway. It was like a whole rainbow Pride flag thingy across the.
It's okay, shh, because I'm gonna redo it, and it's
No.
gonna be better than it was last time.
Better, stronger,
so it's fine.
faster.
No, because like honestly, I had some nitpicky things. Like, oh god, I have something in my eye.
Lash glue, pro.
me seeing how far that camera goes down on the fucking live stream and moving it up. Yeesh. Thank God I have a tool underneath.
I was like making sure you're not flashing the entire internet right now.
No, I very am good. Even if I have like something like that, I like a skirt on, I usually have a towel or like a little crinoline underneath. And if not, I usually have shorts underneath. So like, trust you me, ain't nobody getting a fucking panty shot off me.
Yeah, you charge for that.
Well-
Man. That costs money.
Not for free.
Serious. Oh my god.
It is
But
Pride
no,
Month,
it's already
so
fun.
pay a local trans woman for something. Whether
Boom.
it's just like a donation or you want to buy their art or you want them to step on you, pay a trans woman for something. We've done a lot for y'all and we get not enough. We get a lot of recognition in like attention and negative space for sure.
It's exposure,
And
right? You don't want to work for exposure? No.
we're paid in exposure. That's all we're paid in. Fuck me.
Oh, Scott, Philly
Good lord.
Pride.
Also,
Yeah, what?
Philly Pride, how was that?
How was Philly Pride? Philly Pride was great. Philly Pride
Yeah.
was amazing.
Because we were
I
recording
actually
tell
while
y'all
you were
all
there.
fucking my Pride too.
Oh yeah.
When is
also
your Pride over? Or
It's going right now, baby. I was at a fucking Pride party last night. I had 3 fucking separate femdoms I was doing shit with. It was a good fucking time. I had at
That's
least
something,
like 3 people step on me, and only 2 of those were the femdoms. So it was a
My
party.
sister is finally exploring the queer community after all these years. I'm so happy for her.
Yeah.
She's finally out there learning what it means to really be queer.
That's cool. That's great. Like
Very
a lot,
happy.
because there's a lot of discussion right now in the community about like the differences between being sort of like, being queer and like having queer identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of talk about
What's
that. Right?
the fucking difference?
Huh?
What's the difference? Being queer and having a queer identity?
So like you could be queer yourself, but you don't involve yourself in queer culture. You separate yourself, and you don't know how to like you oftentimes those people feel a sense of resistance. I'll call it resistance to queer values, to queer ideas, to queer philosophy.
Oh, like the queer pick-me's.
Yeah, but some of them it's a little bit. It's not
internalized homophobia.
It can be very that. Not necessarily always a pick me thing, but they all are pick me. I get what you mean. So you're not 100% not wrong.
Some are.
Yeah, no, 100%, 110%. I think they kind of all are, but some of it's about like where they're coming from.
Yeah, because most of them have an appeal to like wanting to be seen. Yeah, a lot of them have an appeal to like being seen in a certain societal lens because they don't want the negative aspects that come with it. Also, it's funny too. I would add a caveat to that. There's people who have queer identities, like and then there's like people who have like queer identities. And if you don't know what I mean by that, like I've been for a decade, right? I don't make my whole life about being trans and queer. I'm very visible and very out there. But like some people sneeze glitter everywhere they go. And I'm not saying that's a problem because like we do need more exposure and shit.
Yeah.
But like
I feel you.
there's like I have a queer identity, and my identity is that I'm queer. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you're saying.
That
I get
that
that.
was a struggle for me early on because so when I had finally come out to myself, I had stumbled upon a lot of trans male YouTubers, and some of
And
them,
take it with a
just
bunko.
like some of them were just like vlogger kind of things, and some did like product reviews, and of course, like you start to get involved in all the drama and stuff like that. And when you watch creators content so much, you kind of feel like you form a relationship with them, sort of. You're like, oh, like I would hang out with this person, and just like our
Social.
listeners, yeah, and like just like
Yeah,
our
I
listeners
agree.
do with us. So and I thought I thought that, like, oh, so what I have to do is I have to watch these creators, get their information, and then I'm gonna go through, get my surgeries, get my hormones and everything like that, do what I need to do, and then my role then will be to create a whole YouTube channel and make being trans my personality, so that way I can then pass on the knowledge to other trans people. And it's sort of a formula that's kind of fed to you, especially if you're like me and you are a creative and you are looking for some kind of outlet, you know what I mean, like for your creativity and all. And so I tried to do like YouTube video stuff. They are deleted now and they are gone. But like I thought I had to do that, and that's really not the case. So like I know what you mean, Sophia. Like sometimes it feels like there are people out there that, like, you know what, being like, I am so queer, like even the queers hate me because I'm so queer.
So
Like
real
it's
talk,
like, dude, it's not that
that's
deep.
that's typically a baby queer thing for somebody who's newer and out. It's a new thing and they're exploring it, so they make it a larger part of the identity. Somebody asked me, because I said I had been out for 10 years, and she's like, oh, really? I've only been out for 2. Do you have any advice for me? And I'm like, when I came out, I thought everything was going to be about being trans, and now that I've been out for a decade, I am just trans, and my life is about like literally fucking everything else that I'm doing. Like
Yes.
the kink shit I'm into, and the parties I go to, and the friends I know, and the connections I make, and like the wounds that I heal, and the magic I practice. All that's way more important to me than like the fact that I was born a certain way and wanted to be a certain way, right?
Yeah, and it's like being trans, it's not like
That's
it's on the
not the
bottom of the
entirety of
list.
me.
Yeah, it's not like it's on the bottom, but it's this underlying current. It's just I am who I am, right?
It's like
just
background radiation, right? We live
Yeah.
under the, like, I'll give you a really good example. We live under the sun, right? And
Yeah.
our life is dictated by the currents of the sun. But ain't nobody over here acting like, I mean, maybe there are a few people acting like they're the sun, or like
Right.
they're like, I mean, that's a very actual bad metaphor in long terms of it. But like, there's a lot of people who can't help decouple themselves from that, and
Yeah.
they're rare by comparison. Most people do that baby queer, oh, I'm trans and everything's about being trans for a while, and then they get over it. Like the
Mhm.
Yeah.
people who don't, I don't mean to be rude, but they are fucking obnoxious.
Yes. You are
Yep.
obnoxious, and
That's,
to
yeah.
some
If you've been
behavior
out for like
shifts.
7 years plus and your identity is still, I need rainbows and unicorns, I'm sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, rainbows and unicorns can be nice, but like, it's how you go about your rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah, and also like when it comes to like those also tend to be the same people that have big huge meltdowns about pronoun misusage and or like name
I
slip
think a lot of
ups,
that's BPD.
perhaps.
Like real talk, basically everybody in the community has either CPTSD or BPD from like the type of trauma that we go through as a people in society. And if you got the BPD variant, you tend to split a little bit more and have meltdowns, right? And then if you add autism into it, it becomes like very meltdown city. And like 1 in 4 trans people are autistic, baby.
That's true. There are a lot of people on
I'm
the
so sorry, I
spectrum.
don't mean to change the subject, but I'm just realizing that how long I've been out, and it's crazy. Like just all together. Obviously not as long with being agender, but being queer in general, I've been out since the year going into sophomore summer.
Hell yeah,
High
Scott the
school.
fucking verified venerated elder.
It's so funny you said elder. Sophie, we have been obsessed with Reservation Dogs. We finally got on to watching that. And I will say
It's such a fucking good show.
It is such a fucking good show because here's my take on it, right? I have such kinship for these characters, right? Because the light so far, we're only in what, season 2? I think we started getting to season 2. So like
I'm almost done season 2. Like,
wow,
there's only 3 seasons, so
yeah, we've been like ripping through it. So the culture there, right? It's just like the people, the characters, the stories that are being told, the situations that they find themselves in. There's such a kinship with a lot of our neighborhoods in Philly.
Oh
It's
yeah,
such a similar situation to like the same problem that like
the struggle is
inner
the struggle.
city. Yeah, like the struggle is the struggle no matter where. And it's like, man, if we could just if people could see that, like, and hone in on that, it's like every marginalized community is going through that, pretty much that same struggle. You know what I mean? Like, we don't got enough money. Like, there's just like, it's just we're just, it's really hard to make it. It's just in the end, the rules are stacked against us, and it's just really fucking hard to make it. And nobody
and you
likes
got a
us.
culture that a lot of people on the outside that like greatly don't understand, and their conceptions of it come from media that are often misrepresentations. And when they engage with you, it's more often with caricatures than the
Yes.
actual granular knowledge of you as an individual.
It's
And they'd rather
interesting.
make your background the entirety of how they engage with you, rather than treating you like you're a person, like they would with anybody else from their own demographic. It's fucking funny.
Right. Like, I was thinking
Mhm.
of the character White Steve, right? Like the white kid that somehow lives on the reservation. And I was like, man, like, I could be chilling. Like like it just looks like but I know, like, it's more of a social commentary about like all of these other issues going on, but it's just like every marginalized group goes through this same fucking struggle. You could put any marginalized group and pop them into this show, and it would damn near be like a very similar story being told. And then I also really liked the commentary they were making about, like, when I think it was the NARDS convention or something, when they were trying to teach these kids about decolonization and stuff like that, and they really failed to convey that to them in a very like, you could tell it was like they brought in some Instagram influencers, to help these kids. And it's just like
Oh my god, those two people. You want to know a
yeah.
fun fact? The girl who's playing the Cherokee lady who misunderstands her identity, do you know who the fuck she was?
Mm.
The actress from Prey.
Hey, I don't think I saw that.
The new Predator movie where it's like the
Oh.
indigenous woman. Yeah, that's her. Okay, and like I actually watched an interview on YouTube about her talking about the character that she's playing, and like how she completely like misunderstands her roots and her identities, and how she wanted to like really lean into that. And I was like, you fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
God, where was that
And
chapter
the
at?
other
That I put
dude
down?
too, he just, it just cracked me up. But like, I was looking at that in particular, and I was thinking about, man, that is really a similar struggle we have in the pagan community, right? Because like, a lot of us overall, we don't have a lot of money, and we're all trying to learn all of these old things and apply them into modern concepts, and we're trying to decolonize ourselves in a way, right? We're also trying to decolonize ourselves. And then, you have a lot of, and we say this all the time, there's paganism as a whole is largely white. But I think a lot of that is because they're coming from like those Irish, Scottish, across the British Isles sort of traditions. And so there's all these white people, quote unquote, of all these different ethnicities and backgrounds that are trying to reclaim a culture, trying to reconnect with a culture that is lost to them, and you see it in that show too, like the spirit guide that comes to this kid to teach him. Is he a good spirit guide? I don't know. He's he knows some shit, he knows some other thing. He's just funny and goofy, and it's just
Dallas Goldtooth fucking stole the show as William Knifeman. Oh,
that's
my
right. That's
god.
his name, William Knifeman. Yeah, so good.
Dallas. Okay, so hang on 2 seconds. I'm just gonna give you a little tidbit if y'all don't know this. A lot of the actors who are involved in making Reservation Dogs, they're a continuation of a group called the 1491s on YouTube. I will pop them in the chat here. Actually, give me 2 seconds. They're an indigenous comedy group. They're so fucking funny and they're classic. Not everybody actually knows that like these were the dudes who were not behind, but like involved in it. But I'll link it in the chat here.
The cop kills me
We
too.
have 6 viewers. We have
Yes, we
6
do have
viewers,
6
and
viewers.
Dawn's not even here because she's like recovering from going to a rave last night.
Oh. Hopefully
So that's the
she will-
1491's channel.
Hopefully Dawn will
It's really
arise
fucking
refreshed.
It's
I can't believe it.
immaculate, and you're gonna recognize a lot of the guys off of it immediately. Like when you click on it, you're gonna be like, "Yo, that's William Knifeman right there," you know. So yeah, a lot of the actors in that show are from that. Like the guy who had like the tattoo across his neck in the weed shop, he's another 1491. It's a good time.
It's just the characters are they're people I've met. They're people I've met and interacted with in my life, and it was. I almost had this like thought. I was like, you know what? Like, I just want to, like they look like they're having a better time out there than I am here in the inner city. So like it just
yeah.
It was more real, and I know it's a fictional show and everything, but it was like this sense of like, man, if people, I really think more people should watch the show because you'll see, like, especially if you are a part of a marginalized community, which if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are.
That's you.
Watch the show
Unless
because
you're
you'll
doing a
see.
study.
Yeah, you'll see your people reflected in that show as well. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or the best though, what killed Rue too was the fucking Uncle Brownie, I think it was, digging up the jar of weed from like
dude,
72.
that is the
whatever.
funniest fucking episode. Don't even get me started. When they blurred the owl eyes,
Yeah.
I almost fucking pissed myself. I was howling like the cultural minutia of like wanting to put the owl thing on there and how fucked up that is, but also like putting a blur strip to not offend people and how outrageously hilarious that is. Like it's like 4 or 5 levels of fucking funny, and I could not. It was the funniest joke I'd seen in a hot
Do you have
fucking minute.
Hulu,
That episode
Scott?
lives.
Huh?
You have Hulu?
I do have
It's on
Hulu. I've been
Hulu.
wanting to watch the show. I just haven't sat down yet to watch it.
Do it. You and Darian
I'm
will have a good time.
definitely gonna-
So
I think even your mom would like
good.
it too. She'd
And-
probably dig it.
It's on the list, so I'm definitely
It's-
going to do it.
Yeah.
It's very magical. Like
It
they
is.
have like actual magic in the show, and it's very actually like how real life shit works, right? Like spirits are real. They show up. They're people. Sometimes they can do stuff. People have out of body experiences. A dude does fucking magic and uses a hatchet to split a storm coming at them.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
But everyone thinks he's
I
fucking
was like,
nuts though. It's just
And he's
stuff
like
that they're all
out
like,
naked
Yeah.
in like the storm. Come at me then! Like with the fucking hatchet.
that episode had like the best quote ever. It was like the cop was like, "Well, there's a tornado coming. I'm gonna get to the church." And the other guy's like, "It's not the time to be praying to the white man's god." And he's like, "No, there's a basement there, dude. Like, there's a fucking tornado."
Oh my god! Now when they're talking with white Jesus, or so when spirits talking
up,
to
white
white
Jesus?
Jesus, fucking oh my god! That
good.
show is fucking side-splittingly funny, right?
Especially if you're a
Oh,
pagan, if you're pagan and like you're gonna see like such the similarities.
Mhm.
I always really so early on in school, that was one of the first things they taught us. So like how it kind of went with history is you learn about like city and state history, and then you move into national history, and then eventually world history is kind of how they did it in school here. So the first things we learned about in school were the local Native American tribes that were in this area, and I will say they did all right in my education. I will say they did okay in presenting what happened, because they did say, colonizers, we were not nice. We had, there was a lot of conflicts, a lot of people died, there's a lot of disease,
Bad,
some
y'all.
of it intentional
Bad.
and some of it not intentional. It was bad.
That's intentional. most of it was intentional. The vast majority of it was intentional.
Yeah.
Almost all of it was intentional.
Yes.
Mhm.
And but they taught us that in a kid appropriate kind of way at the time. And then like me just being who I am, read more about it as I got older and read, more, I guess, advanced and scholarly resources and stuff. But the overall message was that, hey, what happened was fucked up. It could have gone differently. It should have gone differently, but it didn't. And the general consensus was like, they had a better understanding of the land and what to do with it and how to live with it and how to respect it
And a lot more things than that, too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that, it's so I will say this, like I always had this sort of fascination with two cultures, which is actually fucking hilarious to me. I've always had a fascination with Native American cultures. Because I ended up into paganism and I was like, I too love finding ways to live with the land. That makes sense to me. And so I loved learning about their cultures. And funnily enough, I was always kind of obsessed with Amish culture too. Because they're very they take care of their own, like they all work together kind of thing. What I'm not a
You
fan
can
of is
see your own values reflected back at you in another tradition.
Exactly. And I think
Mhm.
that's fucking awesome. It's just so cool to see that. And I wish more people could be open to experiences.
Also, I'm just gonna go out on a soapbox moment here. I think that basically everybody should study Native American culture and get way more ingrained with it, because everybody thinks about this as America, but it ain't, right? It's colonized ass land. If all of us were in fucking China, okay,
Right.
we would understand and engage with Chinese culture so much fucking more, right? We would pay Chinese artists more. We would help fund them and be more in relation with them, right? But we don't do that because the fundamental it I wouldn't say the fundamental, one of the large residual aspects of colonization is people still considering the land as theirs and not as though it's been taken from other people, right? They don't see themselves as part of the colonial project. They see themselves as the inheritor of the results, right? And that's how they're able to emotionally distance themselves a lot of the time from feeling like they have some type of culpability. And it's not to say that anybody who's alive is responsible unless you're actively perpetuating that shit, but a lot of people are still inheritors of benefits and not existing in relation, right? Real talk, even if my genealogy comes back and they don't find nothing, I've still lived in good relation with the community my whole fucking life. A lot of them still consider me very, very what one of them in regards to individual people. You can't speak for an entire group. I know other certain people have been yo, I don't give a fuck what your genealogy says. You're down, right? But not everybody's gonna agree with that, and that's how everything fucking works like that. But anyways, that's a fucking fictional scenario. The point is, live more in relation to the communities that you're around, and especially live in relation to the community on whose fucking land you reside. If you lived in India, you would engage with Indian culture, right? And they've got their own stuff from colonization from England and Britain that really fucked them up, a lot of people do, but we do this unique thing here where we engage with Canada and America and Mexico like it's North America and not like it's Turtle Island, and it's that's being in bad relations right there.
Yeah. I think this combination of watching for Kai in the chat, the show is Reservation Dogs. It's on Hulu. That's what we were talking about. But the combination of me reading Braiding Sweetgrass and watching Reservation Dogs, it's very I'm just I'm in this current kind of thing, I'm just kind of riding this wave. And I'm just everything I'm this is how I want to live my life. It's I think about my house, right? My yard is exploding with green. most people would think that it's just a bunch of weeds. I have so much shit out there. I don't even know what it all is. Like I have to go out there and identify every single thing grown in my yard because like I don't know what it is, you know? And I was thinking about this. I was like, you know, in the laws of men, in the laws of society, whatever, you know, I own this land, I own this house, this property, whatever. But that's in the laws of, you know, these made up laws that we make, right? Our records and paper and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But really, in the laws of the universe and the laws of nature, you know, the laws of the gods, I'm just taking care of this land, and I don't know, I'm really happy with what I've done. I'm really happy with what with what's and I think because I have that sense of it, I think that's why the land is responding in kind because I said like I'm here to take care of you. I'm here to bring you back to life because the yard was just a mud pit with plastic pallets, you know, on top of it. And now it's like a little jungle looking thing out there. So, I don't know. Just some thoughts
One
I've been
one of my
having.
favorite ancient Arthurian legends that comes from some of the oldest Welsh tales, which is where the Arthurian legend comes from. It comes from ancient Wales. Um, there's a story about Uther Pendragon when he's building Camelot, or the castle that comes to become Camelot.
Hmm.
It keeps falling,
Hmm.
and he cannot figure out why. He has the best of the best stonemasons and builders, and for the time they're great mathematicians, and the building keeps falling. It keeps falling, and he goes, you know what? Get me a druid. I need you to bring me a druid. I need you to bring them here right now.
Hmm.
And the druid comes in, and some stories it says the druid. The timeline gets a little fuzzy, but it's a druid who walks up and goes, "Well, you're building it on top of a dragon."
Oh,
And Uther's like, "What?" And he's like,
that's
"Well, there's a dragon asleep in the land, and you're building it on top of this dragon. And the dragon, you didn't ask the dragon, you didn't, we many moons ago, for all, like, globally, our ancestors who were all animists before religion, we had animism, and we all used to understand that when you wanted to build, you asked. When you wanted to
right.
cut down a tree or a large portion of trees, you asked first.
Mm-hmm.
When you wanted to hunt, you asked. When you wanted to, there was a relationship, and it wasn't just a spiritual thing either. There was also, like, animism is more than just the spirituality. Animism is also the way in which you move through life. It is in the way that you behave. And I mean that in all facets of your life, not just spiritually. I hope this is making sense. And there this is why I've said, and I've said on this podcast before, especially, I want to speak directly to people who are Scottish and Irish, etc., white people. As I roll my eyes at that word, but
Yeah.
the reason I speak directly to you is because we were a lot of us were the earliest in the what that Christianization game, right? When that state religion of Christianity came in and storm rolled into our paganism, and became a state religion for most of us, and it started to become this political thing. We lost a lot of our
So
animism,
much. So much.
and when we did that, we completely disconnected, right? And I think, as a practitioner, I think that Echo, disconnect from computer. Sorry.
Now disconnected from Darian PC1. Now connected to Darian PC.
Love
I'm
it.
so sorry. I apologize.
You're
Oh, it's
fine.
fine. Yeah, it's
It's
comic
just
relief.
funny.
We
This is the episode of Technical Demons for sure.
Yeah.
When we disconnected, we lost our ability to how do I put this? See ourselves in other people. And it made it, and because those horrible people who were beginning this process of colonization and genocides and these horrible things that really weren't a thing a long time ago, very long time ago. When they started to do this, they took away our connection, and our connection was not just to the land; it's to the people that live on the land with you. There are neighbors from other countries. There are neighbors from neighboring towns, etc. The animals are our neighbors. We too
Plants.
often, like, one of the things I hate. I don't know, Sophia. You have bears up there, and people here. I don't know if you hear this there. I don't know if it's the same thing. We act as if bears are evil.
We do kind of. Yeah.
We act as if bears are evil.
You're muted, Sophia. If
You're muted. Can't hear you.
Sorry, it was Discord mute. I thought it was on my headset mute. How are bears considered evil? They're not necessarily considered evil up here. Like, people are more afraid of them, that's for sure, but they're not necessarily evil.
The rhetoric used, it's fearful rhetoric that's used to sort of almost make them seem more monstrous than animal, right? It's sort of
How
this.
so?
I don't know how to put it. It's
well, like,
more in
think
just
about that excuse me, that like meme thing that was going around, like, all right, ladies, you're alone in the woods, would you rather deal with a man or a bear? You know, it's like, why a bear specifically?
People use the same thing out here a lot because a bear is actually quite dangerous by comparison to other animals. They're basically picking it because it's the largest terrestrial predator in North America.
But I do know what you mean,
Right.
Scott. There is kind of a vibe over here that, like, bears don't, like, if you're out and about, like, say you're camping or something, you see a bear off, like, way in the distance, like, not gonna bother you or something like that. People would be like, oh shit, like, like the immediate reaction is bear bad.
It depends who you talk to, but like also like real talk, bears kill a shitload of people out here in Canada in like rural areas when they're hiking, right? So people have fear. Yeah. Pardon?
We don't have a lot of bear deaths here.
Oh, yeah. How big are your bears? What kind of bears you got out there?
It depends. It depends. Most, like, closer to us, it's black bears. But if you start going like towards like Yellowstone, it's grizzlies. Big old.
Have you heard the phrase of how to know how to deal with a bear?
No.
My dad used to
black,
teach me.
fight back.
Yeah.
If it's brown, lay down.
Yeah.
And if it's white, say goodnight.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, polar bears, they don't fuck around. You're doomed.
Neither do pandas either. Pandas are really
if it's a
dangerous.
polar bear.
Oh, yeah.
Pandas are really dangerous too. They're pretty much like polar bears.
Wow.
When they're not utterly fucking lethargic.
Right.
Yeah, when they're not sleeping all the time, they can be pretty aggressive when
That'd
they're
be my
older.
luck. I'd catch a panda
having the inability
5
to
minutes
fuck
away.
enough to keep themselves in existence.
That too. Just
let's stop dunking on pandas. They got it bad enough.
Yeah. True.
But pandas are also all like pretty much in captivity. I don't know if there are wild pandas anymore.
I don't
there
think so
are
because
about
they're
like
just such an
2,000, 3,000 in China itself.
Oh, okay. Well, correct me then. Thank you. I appreciate that. I assumed there weren't really many because they're not good at maintaining themselves. Like, they really have to be coerced into fucking.
Yeah.
The laziest. Fucking.
Yep.
Why?
You must do this to save your species. Okay.
Watch like humans try to come up with a solution for this to like genetically modify a strain of pandas to have more testosterone to be more virile,
and then they're more
and then this
aggressive,
results in murder pandas.
I'd watch that movie.
Lab engineered murder pandas.
That needs to be an animated adult show. Murder panda.
God, there's some Hollywood director like writing this shit down. Like, God, why is she not writing in the industry? Why is she putting up fucking tents?
But we've been talking for a bit over an hour. Just curious, if there's any sort
God, I have
of
so much to say. How long do y'all want to keep going for?
I do have to get ready for D&D because we have one of Darian's childhood high school friends is here for the first time, so I do have to skedaddle soon.
What's your time constraints, Scott?
I probably have to be off by like 4. So I have like a
I wasn't planning on going longer than that. No way, no how.
All right, I could probably stay till 4. Yeah.
So here's something interesting. I've been reading a lot of mysticism books, like I've been talking about. I absolutely cooked the entirety of The Secret Teaching of All Ages, right? There's some shit in there I'll tell y'all later that's very, like, I can't say it on the camera or on, like, stream dealio, but it's some of it ranges from, like, eye rolling, like, you're obviously misunderstanding that, or, like, being very paternalistic to, like, who the fuck told you? And it's funny, when you read a lot of these old mystical texts, they change the way that you think a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like, my friend asked me, like, we'll have certain random conversations, Dawn and I, and she'll say something, and then I'll just, like, say something, and I know that I'm actually speaking, like, hermetic law when I do it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But, like, we were talking about driving, right? Because she sent me a meme about, like, V in Cyberpunk doing makeup while she drives. And it's funny, she's referencing me because what I'll do is when I head out and I'm in a rush, I will just apply my lip gloss while I'm at red lights, just because, like, I
What else
can
is there
see
to
the
do?
red light while I'm doing it, and it's
Yeah.
not like it's a million times less distracting than being on a fucking phone. Let me tell you that. My phone's
Yes.
locked on my thing with the map display, not doing nothing. So it looks bad, but it's really not. Anyways, so Dawn sent me this, and and I said, and yet I still make it through that light faster than most people. And she's like, the bar is on the floor. And then I immediately just jumped into being like, well, no, this is the nature of things. If you give any people a task that they have to do, a vast majority of people will begrudge the task and not avail themselves to it and not gain in mastery. However, there will always be those who avail themselves to or enjoy the act thereof, and in so gain mastery over that act. It is the same with every principle therein. And I'm like literally fucking talking like a hermeticist, like, what the fuck is this, right? And we were just talking about, like, getting through a stoplight, and I'm just like, why? Everything is wisdom when you fucking break it down, right? And, like,
And then when you're
I'm gonna write a book, y'all.
And then when you're like a spiritual minded person like us, like we're like, yeah, and then we could talk about those kinds of things like for hours, right? Hence why we do a podcast. But then like certain people just don't connect on that level, you know, and they're like, man, I can't even. And then it's just like a total like shutdown.
You know what I realized? Are certain people who connect to the idea of like one of the things, for instance, this is a little different, but I think it's still important. Well, it's the same. This idea of like, you know how we can observe the spiritual significance of the sunrise. You know, a lot of the argument against paganism is like, well, you worship the sun because you think that the sun won't rise if you don't worship it. I'm like, that's no.
No,
I
I'm
was
just
like, that's not
grateful
what we're
that it
talking
does.
about. There's that, and also there's this sort of other side of things that I think that I know, at least for me as an animist, it's sort of like the sun rising, just the sun rising is one thing, but there is this like what you know, the dew, the you know, when we collect the dew, the morning dew, as it reflects the morning sun, like they're the stories that give power, right? The legends and the lore and the beliefs that have suffused the act of the sun rising, right, with potency and virtue. It's not about the sun won't rise. It's about the sun will only rise. Do we like when we don't maintain it? It's just the sun rises.
That was kind of how like I grew up, you know, like for a good portion of my life until I found Wicca specifically, because that was my entry point. like it was just like everything was just, well, the sun rises, the sun is a big gas thing in the sky, and it's a big ball of fire, and the planets are there, and gravity, and it was very just like, this is life, and things die, and that's it. Like it was very like, it had no juice. It had no substance. I was like, well, why am I like, not to, I guess not to say it's like suicidal ideation or anything, but I was like, then why the fuck am I here? If it's just like life is just to go through the motions and eat food and shit and piss, then like, why am I fucking here? So
to learn knowledge of your own divinity and to retake the task until you gain that knowledge, and then you grow as a being and you undergo the process of becoming again and again until you become, and then you can choose on whether or not you're coming back here. I'm not going to say where anybody is at in the cycle of death, birth, and incarnation or reincarnation insofar as how they're bound the wheel. I'll tell you this though, y'all. I fucking had the option to walk off this life, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I want to see what happens. I want to make the world a better place. I want to call down heaven, make fucking paradise on earth. That's my job here. I ain't fucking off and doing no like piss off in the infinite. I can do that after I die. And they're like,
right, yeah,
Giga Chad energy. You keep rocking. And like, I'm like, yeah, I'll keep rocking.
But yeah, like growing up with like that, and so I'm really glad that I found spirituality. I'm glad that I found something, and even now, like I'm really really glad that I found the spirituality for me. Like I've been through a lot of iterations and phases of different pagan spiritualities, but like I'm really glad that I found something finally, because it changes you. It changes how you approach everything in your life when you finally have a spiritual system that you work within. And there are some things that, well, actually, I do have a thing that I want to talk to you about, Scott, but just not on air.
Yeah.
Related to that Nine of Spades card. So.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, but but yeah, it is very fulfilling once you find the current that you belong in. And it's so different for me, because it's like, well, if I look at my childhood, like I did not grow up like that. It was just like, it was very, there nothing had reverence, nothing was sacred, nothing was. It was just, that's the ground, that's the sky, that's the sun. Ew, it's raining. I don't like rain. Ew, you smell like dirt. You were playing outside and you need to take a shower. That's gross. Like everything outside is dirty and nasty, and everything inside is clean and happy. And it's like, oh no.
This is why I try to like tell everyone to reconnect with their animist roots. One, because animism inherently will help you decolonize, because you cannot be a colonizer and an animist. It doesn't work. If they don't, there is no connection. The plug won't fit. But
if you believe that the land that you are walking across is alive and sentient, and so is everything that you're regarding, interacting with, it creates a fundamental shift in your behavior.
It changes.
And absolutely. And what was I saying? Yeah. To the animist, this was Sarah Ann Lawless said this. She said, she obviously is going to say it much better than I can, but in animism, everything is sacred. So like every act, when you wash your clothes, when you go to the supermarket, when you're tired from work, when you're all these things, when you're angry at your neighbor, when you go to sleep, when you do all these things, it's sacred. The profane, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all sacred. And that's the beautiful thing about what we do, right? We get to find the sacred in living, just in living our lives as people. And I think that for me, it's a simplification of a lot of other traditions, and for many people, animism might seem very simple, but I think it's a process in which you watch the world around you, you watch the people around you, and you grow and you listen, and you listen not to to react, but you know what I mean. You listen to actually respond or behave in a certain way. You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
be
You
receptive.
listen so that you can engage. You don't
Yeah,
just
thank
sit
you.
there and go, "I am listening to you." So anyway,
Right,
blah, blah, blah. You know, like you
right,
know, you don't just disconnect.
and I think, yeah. And
I kind of had
that's
that
what's important.
I kind of had that experience a little bit before we started podcasting, before we started recording today, because I'm behind on laundry. You know, who isn't? But I was downstairs, you know, filling up the washer and going through the motions of doing laundry, right? And there was a part of me that was like irritated because fucking laundry, right? It never ends, and I'm, you know, whatever. And then there was a part of me that's like, you know what? I have a washer and dryer. It washes it for me. I just have to stick it in, put the shit in it,
Mhm.
and to hit the button, and it washes it. The actual act of the washing is the hardest part, and I'm living in a time now where it does it for me. I'm also fortunate enough that I have a unit in my own house that does that. Some people don't. You know, some people still have to go to a laundromat. You know, like if you, yeah, exactly. It's a bitch. Like it
Fucking me!
becomes
You have no idea how hard it makes it when I have to walk fucking with like
the giant
50
bag.
pounds of fucking laundry. I have a duffel bag that's 50 fucking liters. I strap to my back that's like bigger than my head and my torso down to my ass, and it looks comical because
I'm so
laundry
sorry.
is a nightmare when you don't. I have laundry here, but the landlord's evil and does coin op. I would sooner die than
What a
pay for
dick.
coin op in my own fucking unit.
I
I
agree.
would shit in the coin op thing before I'd rather fucking use it.
I fucking agree
Take
because
spit.
my first apartment was the same thing. There was washer dryer in the basement and they were coin op, and it was the nastiest looking washer dryer down there in that nasty basement, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the laundromat up the fucking street because I would rather pay them
That's
the
the
money.
fucking rub too. The
Yeah.
landlords who do the coin op shit are always the one who are giving you the busted ass, fucking barely working, like it's a piece of dog shit thing, and they're not maintaining it, and they're like, okay, pay me for the use of it.
Right, and it smells like mold, and they've never cleaned it. And it's just gross, you know.
Uh-huh.
Slum
It's real
lords.
slumlord. It's
Yeah.
oh my god, you took the words right out of my fucking mouth, bestie.
Yep.
It's real
Yep.
slumlord shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Ugh.
But then, you
There
know,
we go.
like the act of doing laundry is sacred, you know, because like you have to think about what are and even if you are a person that has to take that big bag of laundry and either walk up the street or get on the bus or like whatever the case is, like think about that. That is a massive task that you're undertaking. You know what I mean?
Can
And you
I
know what? You're not an entitled prick that just has someone that just does your fucking laundry for you. You know, like rich people don't have these problems. You know, rich people don't do their own fucking
can I
laundry.
give y'all a food for thought thing that we're taught a lot in like rural Canada that I notice city Canadians don't do, and I think therefore Americans probably don't do as much.
Hmm.
Real,
What's up, Scott?
Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
real quick, I'm getting like I'm sorry, they're calling me. I have to.
Okay, you gotta
Sorry,
go.
everybody. Yes.
That's all right.
You're good.
Everyone watching, I love you all. Everyone who watched, I will talk to
Love
all of you
you.
later. I love you all. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye bye.
So I won't prattle on since we don't have Scott, but I will sum this up. Hang your laundry up outside, y'all. Even if you tumble dry it first, hang it up after, and your clothes will never have smelled more fucking clean. I gotta let the cat out. Come on, baby, let's go.
I don't think city people do that much because of the city.
It's not as bad as you think. I live in like downtown Toronto. Fucking hang stuff out on the balcony, and it's like 10 out of 10. It cleans it. I don't know what it does, but it's actually slightly antimicrobial. I found out to hang stuff in the air. I don't know why.
Something about the sunlight too, I think might have something to do with it.
Even if you hang it in the shade, though.
I've been thinking about a laundry line, but I don't know really how or where I would put one outside. But I have been thinking about it because my yard does get constant sun.
Backyard.
Like all
It's
the
always
time.
got to be backyard because
Yeah.
otherwise laundry theft is a fucking thing.
My mom used to, like it was specifically a summertime thing. You know, that was really the only time.
Your mom used to steal laundry?
No,
I'm
yeah,
kidding.
yeah. She used to hang laundry outside in the yard. She would have my dad set up, some drying lines, And as kids, we used to run through the towels and stuff and play and stuff like that. But yeah, it was some it hit different when you put that shirt on if it was drying outside versus in the dryer. It felt a little different on your skin. You could feel that sun, in there. But I can see. But then I'm like, I don't know if I would hang my laundry out here because my neighbor has like 10,000 fucking cats that roam around all the goddamn place, and I'd want all them cats thinking they can play with my laundry. I'd have to get it up really high. But yeah,
that would be a catastrophe.
a catastrophe.
Okay, we'll sign off with that.
Yeah. So thank you everyone who was in the chat today. We did have like 6 viewers. I see we have Sage, Kai, Rat, and I think that was it. And Rat, that's who I see in the chat.
Y'all the real MVPs.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I really am still surprised every day that random people around various places in the world listen to us blather on about stuff. So.
Bro, just you wait to see the shit I'm gonna talk to you about when we hang up the call.
Sorry, I was just looking at the chat. There's something going on here. So yeah, thank you for everyone for tuning in today. I will say, I'll do my usual plug. We have a Ko-fi page if you want to support us there. The cool tier is Hail Satan tier, $6.66 a month, and we have a subscriber on that tier that is Tink, and Tink wants us always to remember free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free fucking Palestine. And don't come at me with the free the hostages shit. They have offered multiple times in regards or in exchange for a ceasefire, but they have been repeatedly refused.
Yeah. Free Palestine and genocide. And with that, we're gonna sign off.
Fuck genocide.
Indeed. We're gonna sign off here, and we will see you all in the next one.